from Trabzon University. Trabzon University is one of the universities of Turkey. It's focused on studying on the social sciences, namely education, sports, law, and religion, and communication, and the other topics. Now, I could not follow the previous presentations, but I think some theories or models or principles of humor in instruction is spoken here. So today I really don't want to focus on the theories or models. I will try to focus on two things today. One is the integration, and the other is measuring something with humor. Can you hear me? Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Now, our title is "Please don't leave the class." Why I prefer this title? Because humor is somewhat related with engagement, and today I will focus on engagement and its relationship with the humor. Now, all of us are hearing the concepts or the words live, say, online learning, engagement, and also our mainly focus is humor. I will start at the beginning of the online learning. What do we understand from online learning? Online learning is a form of education, namely instruction and learning. We all know this, but I will repeat and join them to engagement first, and then the humor. Instruction and learning takes place over the internet. We all know this. New online learning platforms, LMSs, learning management systems are used. And the researchers called the types of these synchronous and asynchronous learning, or the combination of these are can be implemented. We mainly saw this in the COVID period, maybe. Also, the hybrid of these approaches can be followed. We call this hybrid courses. What online learning mainly provides us, there are many benefits of them, or many affordances of online learning, but I checked some of them about various resources: flexibility to study, increases self-discipline for students, enjoy more time, self-paced learning, and also the others. Now, if we turn back to the synchronous and asynchronous learning, there are some intersections, and also there are some separate affordances. We can complete our work each week or each days on our schedule in asynchronous learning, receive immediate feedbacks, schedule group works when it's more convenient for us. Also, in synchronous courses, we should attend class virtually each week at the time, participate in real-time discussions during the class time, improve presentation skills, maybe. Okay. Today, my presentation will go on asynchronous learning. It will be related with the principles of asynchronous learning. So, what is the role of students or the teachers or instructions in asynchronous learning? Something to remember them. Students and instructions do not have to be in the same environment. We all know this. Learners usually access the learning content themselves with their own strategies. So they should have developed their self-discipline or self-regulation skills. Also, course content in asynchronous learning is delivered with videos, presentations, text, images, audio files, and also the other formats of the information through Through what? Through generally by using the learning management system. Maybe on Moodle or on other specialized LMSs. What's an LMS? LMS aim to provide all these tools to the students in an easy-to-use format. Therefore, the components of the LMSs should be at a level that can attract student attention and facilitate learning. What does students follow? Students follow content, work on them, make evaluations via quizzes, assignments, do assignments, and interact with each other by using the tools of LMS. We all know this. And I will try to join these tools with the principles of humor or with the principles of engagement. So we all know that there are many components in an LMS, but generally, a student, a learner, is generally using the course content or focusing on course content, and he or she needs self-directed learning. So, and the student goes on quizzes and work on assignments, and also for discussions and peer messaging, use the format chat tools of the LMS. By using these, the collaborative learning skills and also the sense of community of the students will develop and also should be developed. So the shortcomings in the using of these tools can negatively affect students' academic success, or directly or indirectly. Indirectly, by affecting the boredom during the learning process, by the lack of interest in the lessons, and also the unwillingness to take responsibility on continuing the course or on doing the tests, on doing assignments or the other tests. So what can be seen after these? Students may fail in the activities in online learning environments or even drop the course after a while. So students are expected to be active participants. Maybe it's one of the key words of this presentation. They are expected to be active participants in asynchronous learning, not just listeners, while at the same time being expected to meet requirements of a self-regulated learning in online learning. So in asynchronous environments, there is no teacher. There is a teacher, there is an instructor, but where is the instructor? Instructor provides the content, organize the course, organize the assignments, organize the quizzes, and follows your development, but you cannot see he or she. So teacher support is limited in asynchronous environment, while the students' responsibilities for their own learning increase in these environments. As I said in the previous slide, the main key components the students follow in LMS is content, discussion, assignments, messaging, or quiz. Also, we know that the higher components of an online learning is learner, instructor, curriculum, and technology. But I'm speaking about the focus of a lesson. So what can students see in a course content? Course content is designed to provide learners with necessary to get necessary information, resources, and activities to acquire knowledge and skills in a specific subject. LMSs can appropriately include elements that appeal to emotions such as competition, gamification, or humor, that increase and sustain motivation in the content. So content is something the student will get, and the others are some other things to be embedded in the content or in other components. Humor can be integrated into LMSs in order to make emotional factors work. Namely attracting attention, increasing interest, and increasing motivation, and also making learning continuous. So one component was content. The other is discussions. What does discussion do? How students, how learners or instructors use discussions? Discussion contribute to meaningful learning in terms of sharing learning experiences, providing feedback, support, and socialization in tasks. Namely, all of us maybe know the community of inquiry, and discussion is one of the main focus of the theory. So it also provides interaction, communication, and collaboration to make learning meaningful for students. And also it supports engagement in learning environments and provide active participation by supporting students to find opportunity, correct their mistakes, to learn more efficient, to meaningful learning need. And also instructor may provoke or challenge students to make response to a discussion that they ask students to reflect, and they also ask students to create an online artifact, maybe by themselves or with peers, by using the discussion. However, studies in online discussions, lack of interest in discussions, and shallow discussions continue to occur in online learning. In order to increase participation in online discussions and improve engagement online, students should be encouraged. So this focus maybe will be on how can we support this encouragement by humor. At this point, various humor elements can be integrated into discussions to strengthen interpersonal relationships in online learning. And the other component is assignments. In LMSs, students can complete assignments online, and the instructors provide assignments for them. And students can upload their assignments as files to the LMSs. We all know this. It's important to introduce some motivational elements in these environments so that students can fulfill their tasks without getting bored or tired. In this case, the use of humor elements may be useful. And also the quizzes. In the LMSs, students can make instant self-assessments by using quizzes, and the instructors use these. Maybe they use this in all weeks, in a month, per month, or it depends on the nature of the course. The humor elements can also be employed to keep students engaged in the process of answering the questions. Think about the student, think about the learner that is laughing while he is fulfilling or answering the test. By using humor and quizzes, people or students can relax cognitively as well as they can laugh while answering. Okay, all these issues can be discussed in engagement. Engagement in content, engagement in assignment, engagement in quizzes, engagement in the other components. So talk about an engagement. What is engagement? We call engagement in online learning as the effort that students show in terms of time and energy by adhering to educational activities. Student engagement has been studied in 3 dimensions: behavioral, cognitive, and emotional. At the beginning of my speech, my talk, I I expressed that, I said that my presentation will focus on integrating and also measuring. Integrating, it's about integrating humor, it's about measuring engagement. So, if we think that the engagement has three dimensions, behavioral, cognitive, and emotional, we should also think that how can we indicate this, how can we determine this in an asynchronous online learning? Okay, go on. Oh, what do we mean by behavioral engagement? Maybe we all know this, but a repetition may be useful. Behavioral engagement refers to active responses to learning activities, and it's indicated by participation, persistence, or positive conduct. Cognitive engagement includes mental efforts in learning activities and is indicated by deep learning, self-regulation, and understanding. Emotional engagement is the emotional investment in learning activities, and it is indicated by positive reactions to the learning environment, peers, and teachers, as well as a sense of belonging. So, engagement is correlated or related in relation with learning. All theories, both behavioral learning theory, cognitive learning theory, social learning theories, consider learning. One is considered learning as a relationship between stimulus and behavior. The other is cognitive learning, considered learning as a reflection of some processes occurring in mind. Social learning theory considered learning as a process that takes through interaction with the environment. Both of the theories are all related with the types of engagement, namely behavioral and cognitive engagement, and also the emotional engagement. And also, these engagements are in one side of these theories. So, there are also some relationship between engagement and interactions. Engagement in online learning is related to the interactions in the environment. How can we interact in an asynchronous learning environment? With the tools of LMSs, of course. So, what types of interactions are provided in LMS? Student instructor, student content, and also student system interactions, maybe in distance education organizations or centers. And also, LMS enables students to interact in a way that they can improve their social relationships in online learning environment, and integrating emotional elements can create positive feelings into the learning environment. So, features of LMSs that foster student-student interaction in online learning include group activities, peer assessments, and use of virtual communication spaces such as social media, chat forums, and discussion boards. Of course, social media is not integrated in LMSs, maybe on specialized LMSs include it, but chat forums, discussion boards are all in the LMS. So student instructor interactions increased when multiple open communications in LMS channels between students and interactions are set, and also the time and consistent feedback provided to students with the tools of the LMS. And also student content interactions includes any interaction that student has with the course content, namely reaching the content. To increase student engagement with the course content, include the use of circular materials, classroom activities that incorporate realistic scenarios, prompts that scaffold deep reflection and understanding, and multimedia instructional material. So, I should try to set a little relationship between engagement and learning, and also the interactions and engagement. So the interactions in LMSs if we provide interactions in LMSs good, we should then provide good engagement and maybe help or support learning. So I said that one major focus is on measuring or determining the indicators for engagement in online learning. Any indicators for behavioral, cognitive, and emotional engagement, we will discuss on these. I'm also looking at the time. Okay. Okay, when we look at the LMSs, we can see many indicators about the behavioral engagement when the indicators that refers to the definition of behavioral engagement in the LMS. We can see it when the students are answering the questions, when they are doing homework, in the behaviors of attention, in the behaviors of effort. We can also count number of posts and replies. We can also count number of posts in the discussions. We can also provide some indicators about the participation period and also number of courses. So these indicators or these are usually obtained at the end of the process through scales or observations with the self-report data. We generally use scales for gathering these tools, but we also know that gathering data about these cannot also always be correct because of the nature of the scales. So in a thesis, we worked about taking the analytical data about these indicators. Okay. And the other is indicators for emotional engagement. We see emotions in concerns, boredom, interest, happiness, having fun, student-student interactions, desiring to use tools, social interactions, sense of community or satisfaction, or we can increase these indicators also. So emotional engagement in online learning environment mostly determined also by scales, but in a thesis we also focus to take or to gather some of these by using the software, by using the programs that takes the images of the face and then decides about concern, boredom, or interest. Another is the indicators for cognitive engagement. When we see the cognitive engagement, we see it in decision-making, focus, metacognition, self-regulation, projection, interpretation, problem-solving, elaboration, analysis, synthesis, or description. So, these are all the things which we can observe, which we can gather in an LMS as an asynchronous learning environment. So, in order to develop these indicators or in order to enhance these, beyond creating simple behavioral interactions for students online, log on, access, download, to creating richer, we should create richer, more cognitively engaging tests and activities for students to complete online. Also, we should think about how to design and create online tests and activities that are cognitively engaging for students. And this requires much more than simply presenting them with digital resources such as videos or PDFs. And we should also keep in mind that creating engaging activities and tests for students does not require sophisticated technologies and tools. The core features of LMS to provide may be useful. So, is embedding humor is all appropriate for these implications? Let's think about it. And now the rest of the talk is about the humor. Humor is a concept. I think you all talked about it. All speakers, all presenters gave many descriptions about humor. One description is it's an instantaneous behavior that provides easy and creates a positive attitude towards the instructor. Students who are used to taking classes in traditional environments want to laugh. We all saw many students laughing in the class. Why? They need laughing. They think while laughing and reflect this to their friends in online environments as they do in real classroom environments from time to time. At this point, humor can be considered as a useful tool for online environments with its emotional elements. Now you are seeing here, I think, haha, and also the aha. I will explain, maybe the previous presenters explained. So the psychological learning states that there are some psychological benefits of humor which are related to students themselves. Social benefits, also relationship between students. Education benefits are also related to learning process, or maybe related to the instructor. And now here is the haha and the aha combination or relation. The main focus in humor studies may be this: when we are laughing, we should discover something. Is it possible? Maybe it is possible, but we should find appropriate tools, we should find an appropriate environment, and we should find appropriate time and integrate humor for especially engagement in online learning. There are types of humor: positive humor, negative humor, participatory, self-actualizing, and offensive, and also self-destructive humors are all you can see in the literature. Sorry. Humor has been found to affect memory in both intentional and incidental humorous memory situations, meaning students' retention of material is positively affected by classroom humor. Students also have difficulty recalling some core material on days of high stress, and this stress can be at least in part mitigated by the use of instructional humor. Instructional humor also decreases stress hormones and acts to mitigate the effects of stress in cardiovascular system is seen in the literature. Sorry. And also there's a list I have taken from the literature that psychological benefits, social benefits, educational benefits, and you can also find these in the literature. Coping with stress, reducing depression, improving self-confidence, breaking the ices as a social benefit, supporting trust, lowering blood pressure, also education blood benefits, sustaining interest, making difficult subject easier, increasing attention and motivation, encouraging risk-taking, and also maybe problem solving. We can also increase these. So we can see that humor directly touches the learning atmosphere, positive or negative. Why negative? I will answer this question. Students may miss the focal point that they need to learn and focus on humor and concentrate on having fun rather than learning. This may be a disadvantage in sometimes. Humor should be used reasonably. So humor should be used reasonably, correctly, and in a balanced way. If not humor, what happens? Of course, it's not in our responsibility to use humor. But if we don't use it, if humor is not applied in educational processes at a reasonable level, students may lose focus of the outcomes, become bored or angry, and gain overconfidence. Also, if an educator ignores humor in online classes, especially in asynchronous environments, it may harm the atmosphere of the online learning and negatively affect the sense of community and also learning experiences and student engagement. So, applying humor in online learning, where, when, and how? Suggestions are required to embed humor elements into basic components, which I said, course content, assignment, discussions, environment, and quizzes. There are some theories, I think the previous presenters discussed about this, instructional humor processing theory that reveals how humorous message is understood cognitively and emotionally in the classroom and how it affects learning. It's about the incongruity is recognized and resolved first in the humorous message, then the incongruous message perceived as humor. Finally, it is perceived as appropriate humor, learning, and retention of it. So, we know the key components of LMSs, and for what we embed humor on these components. Maybe considering the theories, humor elements can be added to online learning components in order to utilize student engagement with attention, recall, feedback, and humor rate. Also, we can increase these, but these are not difficult for embedding humor. Animations, videos, cartoons, texture expressions, word games, and caps, which are frequently used in social media and enable the message to read the other part quickly and clearly, can be used in development of humor elements. Adding humor elements in specific and correct places in the key components attract attention, prevent boredom, and help learning can contribute to the appropriate continuation. And humor for whom? What I mean by for whom? For whom means what are the learning characteristics for humor? Are they ready for your embeddings? So the interest and the individual characteristics, maybe the ages, education, social backgrounds, local culture, humor backgrounds, and the others all learners are important in understanding the elements or in using the elements or in embedding the elements in humor studies. So one way for the information about humor backgrounds, maybe a kind of humor content pages that learners follow on social media can be used. So the humor pages may include video content pages, drawing pages, mixed content pages, sharing cartoons, sharing text, or the others. Also, talks for here can be organized or can be schematized as like this. The relationship between humor engagement and learning can be expressed that humor is somewhat related with the interactions of the asynchronous learning environments, namely LMSs. With what? With the contents, with the discussions, with the assignments or quizzes or the others. But the students mainly uses this. For what? For attention, for feedback, for recall, and for humor breaks. And the studies show, or some of the studies show that the enhancing the interaction in this way may enhance engagement and maybe indirectly or sometimes directly affect on learning. And also the other part of the speech, I think my time is limited and I'm becoming the faster. So learner data can some scales, I said that some scales are used to determine engagement, but the analytic data or learner data can be analyzed in a way to answer the questions also for the real measurements of engagement. In what direction, in what order students use the components of online learning process can be gathered and can be referred to the types of engagement. So the use of this method is in the field of, also we know that, in learning analytics. So in our study, we try to define some indicators that we embedded humor in the contents, and we try to define the engagement, namely behavioral engagement. So the course material, in the course material, the behavioral engagement may be defined or may be indicated by number of risk studies, time spent, number of competitions, number of emotional reactions, number of viewing, that we can all take most of these from the face recognition software. And also the cognitive engagement and the course content relationship indicators, maybe the simultaneous review of different activity scores, and also the emotional engagement indicators, maybe the level of emotion. And also we provided the indicators for discussions in a thesis: behavioral engagement, number of responses, number of words the learners use, time spent for discussion, number of emotional reactions, and also cognitive engagement, textual expressions. We try to define the meanings of the text expressions, simultaneous reviews, and also we define some indicators for emotional engagement. And also we did the same things for the quizzes. We did the same things for the assignments. Do I have time? Sorry.
Right, Professor, I think we have to stop because we have to leave a little bit of time for questions.
Okay, I'm entering my last slide. Is it okay?
Yes, yeah. Can
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. There were some research gaps, but here some presentations from our thesis. We embedded the humor in the key components of a course. The course was introductory programming course. And these were the results. Sorry about not using the time efficiently.
Yeah, I think, Professor, actually, what you showed just now, the experiment, that is actually related to this question that somebody's asking. So how was humor implemented into the online classes that you studied? And what kinds of humor did you study? And in relation to which dimensions? So I believe, would it be the slides that you just showed, the experiment that you did on humor?
Yes, of course. In this study, we focused on embedding humor in the key components or asynchronous learning, namely embedding humor in LMSs. We embedded humor in course content, in assignments, in quizzes, and also in discussions. Four components of the elements. So, and we determine the results about the engagement, namely in behavioral engagement. We get data quantitatively, and also the qualitative data we also gathered. These were the codes, these were the themas we extracted from students' statements. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let's give Professor Çakıroğlu a round of applause. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
Yes. I'm asking the audience. Right. We have one question from the back.
Hello, Professor.
Hello.
I just have a question. So since a lot of the time teaching and learning is very interactive, and teachers would assess whether that pedagogy is effective from observing the students' instant responses or action. And I believe that is what you mentioned, behavioral engagement. But then for asynchronous online learning, which you also mentioned in the very beginning, I wonder, without the behavioral engagement element in asynchronous online learning, because you cannot assess, right? Because the students are not in front of you when you were teaching, and when they're learning, you're not in front of them. So how do we make sure that students are actually engaged and learning, and it is because of the humor you incorporate it, but not like other things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's one of the difficulties in the engagement studies to define the behavioral engagement indicators, as you said or as you expressed, that they are not in front of the teacher or instructor. So no, we should focus on the interactions the students done at their home. What did they do about time spent? How they the number of competitions, the number of emotional reactions, the number of viewing, and the others maybe related to the content and related to behavioral engagement in content, and the others maybe the behavioral engagement in quizzes. And these are the behavioral engagement indicators. These may be the behavioral engagement indicators in discussions and also the others. So I'm at the same idea with you that it's so difficult to extract the indicators for behavioral engagement.
I think I understand more about your research and also what you're about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much. So let's give him a round of applause again. Thank you.
Thank you from Turkey.
Yeah, thank you very much.